Shan, RJ, and Bobby live at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, sitting down with Cowboys insider Todd Archer from ESPN here on 105.3 The Fan. Brian Schottenheimer is going to talk today. What are your early impressions, Todd, of Schotty and some of the new staff? Oh, Bobby.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Good
Sorry.
job.
Come on, Bobby.
Good job, Bobby.
Come on, Bob.
One job.
I know.
One job.
I know.
What was the question? I consider and say, oh, yeah, I mean, I broke down the Arizona offensive line, and I can tell you all this, da-da-da-da-da. I'll trust people that I know across the league and say he did a good job putting his staff together. Adam seems like a good, solid hire for how they want to play, at least how they say they want to play. That's a better way to say it. How they want to run the ball, right? Junior Adams from Oregon was a guy that people in college football have a lot of respect for and what he was able to do. You look at the Oregon receivers, you look at their offense. One thing I like is that he did look at the college game the game's trickling up. It doesn't trickle down anymore. So I think we can all agree that the offense was kind of stale and stayed around here, and you're not in there was no innovation in being ahead of the game. And I'm not sure he's going to be, but he's hired guys that could give them ideas that they wouldn't necessarily have. And then on defense, like the White Cotton guy, he's a guy who's coached really good players with the Jets, and he's a guy that has a lot of juice and a lot of energy. He's a guy I'm going to try and get to know a little bit more as this process goes on.
How do you feel about Eberflus's return?
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, you look at, he was never the coordinator in Dallas, but really, and Bobby, if I'm wrong in this, tell me I'm wrong. I think he was doing a lot of calling the defenses, maybe even on just third downs, maybe at the end when Rod was still a coordinator. So while he wasn't the coordinator here, he had that experience. Obviously came to this city as the Colts, and their defense before he got here was awful. And they immediately became top 10. And then you look at the takeaways, right? That's something we always harp on. They were up there in takeaways. Now, and even Chicago, when they weren't very good, was it last year or in 23? They led the league in interceptions. They had 22 interceptions. So their style of defense works, right? It's hustle to the ball, it's run, it's all that kind of stuff. It's not necessarily predicated on having all the talent. Let's remember, do you guys remember who the Cowboys' nose tackle was when they were number one in the league in defense under Marinelli?
What year would that have been?
Like 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there.
Wasn't Jay Rat anymore.
It was not Jay Ratliff.
I can't even remember.
Nick Hayden.
Oh, yeah. What did Marinelli call him?
I'm not using that word. You can say it because you know the name.
Yeah. I was testing you.
Yeah. But so it's an effort-based defense, right? That you don't need to have the most skilled dudes to just, be solid and all that. So I think Eberflus was a good hire. I know if Kellen Moore got the job, he was Kellen's defensive coordinator as well.
Wow. Todd Archer here on 105.3 The Fan. So what is on your Cowboy Combine checklist in terms of players? Trying to follow the breadcrumbs of the visits or who they're talking to.
Yeah, for me, it's more about free agency and what's coming up. So you want to see who's going on the bus. That ostensibly they're talking about the Cowboys players that they have on the team, but that's not it. They're talking about the other guys that so you have illegal tampering going on before the legal tampering.
Sure.
And that's where you kind of want to find out what they're doing here.
Is the bus all right, what's it like on the bus? Bobby told me, I'm so disappointed in you guys. I know you guys are trying to be professionals, but he said, can I say this?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think it's a problem. I'll say it so I can be in trouble if it's my problem.
Yeah, Jerry, this is Bobby.
No, a couple of years ago, just it's on the bus, and it's just when Jerry was like, hey, did you guys want a beer or whatever when we're up here? And everyone's just like, we don't want to hold this up. He's going to talk for another hour if we do that, and everybody's going to be mad outside. So let's make sure they can get to their dinner.
There was one former employee. So Jerry always, you guys want a beer or something like that every time when we all say no. There was one guy who used to work at your station that actually accepted it and took one. That he's no longer with your station.
Yeah.
So
I heard.
Was everyone mad?
No, but.
If I took a beer, if this was today and I cracked one open, how long do you think Jerry would stay hanging out on there with everyone with the libations?
Oh, he'd be on there, yeah.
He would stay, keep
it would
going?
delay dinner. It would delay dinner.
It would delay the Cowboys dinner, not our dinner.
Yeah.
But it would delay the Cowboys dinner.
What an opportunity!
At
It's a great
St. Amos.
opportunity. You got to say yes when you're on the bus.
But I was like, there were times like we would talk to him for 90 minutes. And that's probably like 6 questions. So it's not as long as we actually think it is because he just goes on and talks, as you guys well know.
Yeah.
But now last year, it kind of got condensed into about 30, 35 minutes, which is fine, too. That's enough to get all your stuff. But, yeah, it's funny to the people, like, around the league, you're going on the bus, like it's you're going into Never Land or something like that, you know?
Now, Cowboy fans are going to say, Todd, why are you spending time covering Cowboy free agency? There's no such thing.
They're going to be selectively aggressive.
Conservatively liberal. That's what they're going to be.
More aggressive than last year? Or
well, they can't be less aggressive than last year. So, I think you'll see them. Honestly, I think what it means is they're reverting to what they used to do. And that was fill holes in free agency. It wasn't go sign the top-end guy. They're not doing that. So everybody who thinks, pick a guy. Top of the market.
T. Higgins.
Yeah, they're not paying two $30 million receivers, right? So get that out of your mind. Now, if there's a number, if there a Brandon Cooks type trade for a receiver, and I'm not saying Cooper Kupp or Debo, but why not explore that and what you can get? That's a move I think would be selectively aggressive.
Is the Micah contract going to drag out like Dak and Lamb?
I asked Steven that question. I'm trying to remember his answer as I'm giving you this answer. And he said, basically he said the CD one took a while because the receiver contracts that had to come due in Jefferson, and that took a while.
Which we never give the Cowboys the benefit of the doubt on that, right? We just think that, they're on the yacht and they're chilling and they're like, let's do it today. But they keep trying to tell us. I think Jerry.
It was still 2.5 months after Jefferson, though.
Right. It took too long to get to where they eventually got to. Like, he could have been in
camp.
The leaves fell enough to get to $34 million. But
we have to be missing. My point is, Todd, we have to be missing something about the delay.
Here's what we're missing. The players know if they wait, they get everything they want. Everybody says the Cowboys, they wait too long. You don't think Dak waited? Dak had a deal, but before Dak went to Todd France, there was a deal that Dak was about to sign the day after the 2019 season opener that the Cowboys thought was done. Jerry talked to us after that game, and he's like, we'll have something here soon on that. And Jerry never says that. And then, obviously, it played out the way it played out. So every time Dak knows and players know, the first guy to really do it, I think, was kind of DeMarcus Lawrence. Mm-hmm. When he got the deal, he's just ended up now. Well, he was first on the tag. And then if you just wait, you're going to get everything you want. That's so. And if you're the Cowboys, are you just going to say, here's $90 million a year on the first one? No. You have to kind of see what's going to – now, it takes too long, and I'd be awful at this stuff because I would be like, you're at 10 and I'm at 20. 15 sure sounds good.
Right.
There's my negotiation.
Yeah. If the Cowboys could go back and do it again, do you think they still give the extension to Diggs?
Yeah, because that was a team-friendly deal.
Do you think Diggs sees the end of it here? The end of that contract?
Tell me how much he plays this year, and I can have a better answer on that question. But what is it? This is year 3 of it?
With Bland entering the final year of his deal.
Yeah, but you can – there's enough money there for them. No.
Enough pie?
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
And Micah.
Is Osa?
Micah, Todd, back to that real quick. Micah's contract. I'm just previewing what I'm about to ask you to give you a mental heads up with what's coming here in a second. But
cool.
Micah and his contract, how do you see that playing out?
I mean, he's eventually going to be the highest paid guy in football. But I'll get back to what Steven's answer was.
And you're ruling out any trade?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah. Steven's answer was we don't have to get our arms around anything on the Micah contract, the way that they were with the receivers. Because who else is going to, like Myles Garrett's going to get traded maybe and then get a deal. But I think it can be done sooner than the Lamb deal. Will it? I'm not going to say that because as much as Micah wants to say they're in a situation where I'll take less and we know how that game's going to play. His agent's not going to say you're taking less. So there'll be some back and forth. They'll probably take longer, but maybe not as long as CD.
Mike Fisher is reporting right now that the Cowboys are very close to a done deal with Osa Odighizuwa, should come in above $21 million per year. What do you guys think of that report?
I don't know if that number is accurate from what I've been told where it would be, but I know they want to sign him. I know they've had talks. I know they've had productive talks before they even got here. You look at Eberflus's defense, they need a under tackle for that thing to succeed. I think he's a guy you had to keep, and you probably had to pay more than you wanted to pay.
So you thought they were going to, like, you weren't just thinking he was gone and out of here?
No.
Okay.
No, because who do they have if he leaves?
If they didn't sign him, were they looking at the prospect of, if we don't sign him, we have to take an under tackle at 12?
Absolutely. And
is this about freedom and flexibility in the draft as much as anything then?
That's all part of it, and you're keeping a good player.
Sure,
so.
and they but be willing to spend more than you're comfortable with. Is that about, we have too many holes to potentially sacrifice that capital on that when we've already got somebody here?
Right, and show me the guarantee that the dude you're drafting at 12 is going to be good enough. Yeah. So that's why I think, again, when their free agency approach, it turns into signing a quality guy at a good number that you don't have to take that position immediately. So
if he gets this deal done and Osa is back, what becomes the top priority in April then at 12, do you think, position-wise?
You can still take D-line, right? I mean, I don't think you'll have David on. I don't think D-Law will be back. You guys ready to go with Sam Williams as the other end? Like coming off an ACL?
Yeah.
I mean, so and offensive line. I think as boring as it could be, those are the two spots I think would still be number one, because I don't think you're going to – they ain't signing Trey Smith as a guard, right?
Speaking of number one, is there a rumor that the Cowboys have –
Well, Florio. Just tell Florio
told us that the Cowboys have talked to the Titans about moving up to number one.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
There's no freaking way.
The last time they made a move up big in the draft was 2012.
It worked out great.
So they got Mo Claiborne at 6. I don't remember where they were picking that year.
12 or something. 12
so if you go from 12 to 1,
you're looking at
what are you giving up?
So history shows you're giving up a player and at least 2 firsts and 2 seconds.
And we just talked about how many holes this team has.
Right,
it's a lot.
Let's just have
to give up.
So okay, you're moving up. I guess you'd take Carter.
That's where I'm going with a stress fracture.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So Carolina, Chicago went from 9 to 1. They gave up DJ Moore, 2 firsts, 2 seconds. The Rams in 2016 went from 15 to 1. They gave up 3 ones. Right, they gave up 3. 2016. 2017, so 2 1s.
They were effing them picks way back then.
Like 2 1s, a bunch of 2s, and a bunch of 3s.
It's a lot to give up. But it is funny. We had mentioned this earlier about talking about that discussion of the idea of them calling about just checking on something. When Rappaport reported a couple weeks ago, the Cowboys have, even discussed if Micah Parsons might what he could fetch them in a trade, things like that. Is that something where, again, that is literally just the due diligence of...
Isn't that doing their job?
Right, where they have to ask the question. Would you expect them to ask that question of anybody they were potentially re-signing? Like, well, okay, what would a trade get us? We got to factor all that in.
Absolutely. They're like the Micah thing. You should have had those discussions. They should have had those discussions when they were talking about Dak's contract, right? And like, hey, if we don't get this guy, what are we going to do? Or even the first Dak contract. I wrote a story. I'm like, they should have gone after Matthew Stafford, because it would have been cheaper than what they paid Dak at $40 a year at that time. Or actually, I think I even mentioned Stafford or Brady, because those guys weren't going to. So you have to, if you're doing your job the right way, you're running through every scenario. There are enough smart people in that building that we know that I'll trust that are doing that, even if that's not Jerry and Steven all the time. But those guys are telling Jerry and Steven things.
Todd Archer here on 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys Insider. Will you be out at midnight this evening?
Yeah.
All right. I want you to be like, I want you to show us the way here at the restaurant, the steakhouse.
Well, if you're all going to Prime, what time's your
7:30.
7:30.
So yeah, you need to eat your dinner at
We're
Prime.
trying to be embedded in there.
You got to eat your dinner at Prime, go somewhere else, and then go back.
Then go back.
Yeah.
Not stay there the whole time. It's not going to be packed at 9:15.
Well, yes, it's going to be. Well, you said you wanted experiences.
Oh God.
Experiences. Your shoulders cramped and you can't get a drink, and you're just like
lovely.
You're breathing halitosis into like Mike McDaniel's face. Like that's the experience.
You got your little assistants on you, Bobby?
Oh yes, I do.
All right.
My prescribed medication. Yes, I do.
All right. May need it tomorrow. Thank you, Todd Archer. Thank you so much, man.
Yep.
Keep killing
Thanks
it.
for having me.